What's up guys, my name's Darren from Beaded Performance. We're here in the entrance to our reception area. It's the customer waiting area for those of you who haven't seen before. The gates are closed because it's 6:30 AM and I'm an absolute loser and I'm here just so I can avoid the phones ringing. So today, what's going on? Well, we've got a special guest and I'll give him an honourable mention because I know it'll make him smile, and that's what it's all about. Christopher Stolesmith, he's visiting us today for an upgrade from Sharp Performance software through to CP340. Now for those of you that don't know, that needs the full stage 2 mods, i.e. a full turbo back system, intercooler, induction kit enclosed, so a CAIS, closed air induction system, and you will also need to accompany that the RS injectors and a CP uprated actuator. Then we can load the software. So Chris has been over and purchased directly the bits from Collins because we didn't have them in stock and he wanted it done super quick because he was super excited. So that's what he's done. We've got a load of other stuff in today as well, but that's where I'm going to leave it for now, and I'll update you a little bit later on. So I'll see you in a bit. Right guys, so I'm here with Chris Stolesmith, who I introduced before, so now we'll formally introduce him. Chris, you've been coming to us for quite a long time I suppose now. Yeah, you've been coming to us for a while now, you've spent a few quid with us in fairness, haven't you?
Yeah.
So, tell the viewers what you've had done before here.
The own factory diff, the guys fitted it for me. I bought some poly inserts for the top mounts. Just about to get a Collins Performance 340 map.
So yeah, Chris has changed from previously, or he's changing from a Sharp Performance map, which as I alluded to before was a Ben Wardle map. Sharp Performance don't exist anymore. I believe that Ben works for Racing Line now as one of the directors there. They were big into their Volvos back in the day. They did quite a bit of focus work. They had quite a few dealers across the country as well. But for one reason and another, they've decided to stop doing that. And as I say, Ben's moved over to, I believe, Racing Line. So Chris asked me to drive his car after George had driven it the other day in one of his reviews, to see what we thought. And the map was nice, it was aggressive, but probably could be improved. And we discussed quite a few options. This probably isn't the last port of call for Chris in his journey in terms of his development of the car. He spent a lot of money, he's done a lot of the work himself, to be fair. He's bought a few bits off us, bought some of the bushes, the inserts. He's actually done a full underbody restoration to the vehicle himself. So he's taken and removed all the lower arms, all the subframes, and he's had those, was it powder coated? Yeah, so he's had those powder coated locally. And to be fair, he's done a really good job. He's done quite a lot of the work himself, to be fair, which is a testament to his ability. Something that he did with his with your dad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was with my dad. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's great to see people taking on these jobs themselves and learning from their experiences and passing it on. So yeah, we took this opportunity because we haven't done any reviews or any kind of Collins Performance installations. As you know, we're first and foremostly a dealer for various different software providers, so Collins being one of them, alongside Revo, and we also do a bit of the Autotech software, amongst various other bits for various manufacturers. So we had a discussion, didn't we, Chris, about what we were going to do and what you wanted to achieve from the next modifications, budget wise, etc. And we decided that the 340 was probably the best way to go. Now, Chris is a very kind of impulsive guy, so he decided he was going to go with this. We only talked about it probably last week now, so he went over to Collins to collect the bits himself, but he wanted us to install them for him and install the software. So his car's in the workshop. We're going to go and take a look just in a minute. Hopefully Ben's midway through installing injectors now, and we can see a bit about what's going on. We'll show you the actuator. We can't show you installation of that because, as I've mentioned before, it's just impossible to see. We'll discuss a bit about the Collins actuator as well and differences between that and a Turbo Smart or a Forge one, and we'll go from there. But we'll be back with you just shortly, guys. So I thought I'd rejoin you in the workshop with Chris's facelift Focus ST. It's running an Irish plate before anyone wonders about that, just in case any of our subscribers are foreign. So yeah, we've removed the crossover pipe from the vehicle, ready to get access down at the back of the engine to the actuator. Now on the table or the bench, or the work trolley behind me, you can see that we have the Collins actuator. Now, nicely engraved Collins actuator. This one's in the raw aluminium. This is fitted with a progressive spring against some of the other makes and models, manufacturers that have actuators available, i.e. Turbo Smart or Forge even. This progressive spring that's installed inside this was developed specifically for the 340 map. So if you are planning on upgrading to CP340 from any other supplier or software, should I say, you need to make sure that you do purchase that, because it is key to this running correctly, and Collins do tell you that. We've also got the Bosch Mark II Focus RS injectors. These are 440cc and they're sealed boxes. Sorry, just disturbing the nicely balanced pile of them there. What you don't want to do is buy these injectors from anyone other than trusted source. So you've got loads of sources ourselves, all the other tuners across the land, they'll be able to source and supply these for you. These come from Collins Performance. We know they're genuine. There's plenty of these that come in these Bosch looking boxes, pretty similar. When you open them up, they look, this is going to be like the unboxing without a knife. If I was Peter McKinnon, I'd have a knife right now, a sexy knife. Anyway, we'll open this up. God blimey, didn't plan that very well. But anyway, as you can see, that's how they come, that's how they look. Those numbers are on them. Even on the fakies, these numbers are engraved, and they look really, really good. Yeah, just don't get caught up in buying these from any of the kind of not trusted eBay sellers. You've got a few sellers that aren't tuners, that are just suppliers of parts like AE Performance or Motorsport, I think they're called. Alex, he supplies them to various people, so just make sure you buy it from the right place. So, as I say, back to the car. We're going to get the plenum removed after we've done the actuator and set it up with a MITI vac to ensure that it's perfectly set up. You can't really install an actuator, especially not at garage, and not set it up with a MITI vac. That's how you correctly set the actuator up perfectly for this particular file. There's details online from Collins about what it needs to be set to, the breakpoint, etc. So that's what we're going to do. We'll then protect and remove his very lovely AS inlet plenum, or Autotech inlet plenum. Remove or let the fuel pressure out by pressing the Schrader valve in at the end of the fuel rail so that we can remove the pressure, so we can safely remove the injectors, pull it apart, install the new injectors, clean the rail, etc., put it back, and then reinstall the crossover pipe, and then we'll get to loading the software. But we'll come back to you because it's quite interesting to see how each of the individual manufacturers actually install this software, what it looks like when it's going on, and then we'll go to some data logging later on and maybe Chris's reaction to the finished product. So we'll join you again when we've got some more updates for you. Thanks guys. So I'm back here with Ben, with Chris's car. He's just loosening the torque screws that hold on the injector rail onto the lower inlet. We've removed the inlet plenum out of the way so that we can gain access. Obviously you can see the injector plugs behind there. Those will need to be unplugged to remove the rail, along with the fuel pressure sensor in the end of the rail. I'm assuming that Ben's already done it, or have you not yet? Release the pressure from that Schrader valve. So Ben's got to release the pressure from the Schrader valve just so we don't all get sprayed with fuel. So I'll leave Ben to that so that we can get the rail on the table next to the RS injectors, and we'll show you. There isn't a lot of difference really to show you with them, other than maybe the tip of them. Is there any difference between the tip of them and the spray pattern? Never really looked, to be honest. There is.
Number of holes, yeah.
A different number of holes, yeah. Okay. So made myself look like an idiot there, but hey ho, it's only YouTube, nobody's. So we've got the original ST injector here and the genuine RS injector side by side. They don't look that much different in fairness, other than the yellow band and what I can see of the QR code and the part number itself. Length obviously is the same, the construction's essentially the same. It's all pretty much in the tip of the injector. So the spray pattern, so we've got 4 holes in this one in essentially cross section, and then we've got the injector pattern on this one, which has got 5 round each side, equally spaced, but with a larger gap in between. I think that Lee's taken some close-ups of these so that you can see the difference between them. Obviously more holes, different spray pattern, and the size of these are 440 cc's. What are these? 330s, are they? I can't remember. 330s, I think. So 440 injectors, delivers more fuel, different spray pattern. At some point I think it'd be good to probably take these and put them on injector test, just so that you can see the difference between them and see the flow rate difference, etc. and so forth. We'll try and get that done in the future, but for now I'll leave you, or I'll leave Ben in fact, to put these injectors back in. He's just lubing them up to make them slide in there easy. Normally you'd do this in a completely different way. No, I'm not joking, that's a different video entirely. While we're at it, I'm going to talk seals. So you can see the seals on the back of this inlet plenum, green ones. You know that those are probably original, don't you, Ben? Although you can still get the green seals, the Ford ones are now normally red. So when you put these back in, you just need to be careful about whether they fall out. I'm just going to make Ben's life awkward now. So you can see just on the very edge of there that it's a bit worn and flattened off, and just a little bit of kind of like almost like a adhesive looking material that's on that there. If these get flattened off, they can cause an air leak, so you need to change them. But what we generally recommend when you're putting these seals back in, you can see that the shape matches there. To hold them in when you're putting the seals back in, if you've removed them, it's always better to turn it the opposite way, so 90 degrees, and that will just hold it in and stop it from, hopefully I'll prove my point here, stop it from falling out. So yeah, thanks Al. Al's just handed me a red seal. So this is a new seal that, should these have been worn, so flattened off on the edges, you'd need to replace them so that you don't get any air leaks. And air leaks are the bane of everyone's life. They cause all sorts of codes that can cause you all sorts of issues. Ben's just answering the phone in the background because we can't stop the phones. But yeah, so with the round ones, obviously you've got to squash them in anyway, and hopefully that kind of fact that it wants to stay round and pushing into an oval hole will make it stay in that opening and easier for you to put back in. But as I say, if you're putting the originals back in because you've upgraded your Plenum and you haven't got new seals, then turn them round, flip them 180 degrees so that they're spun round, so that the oval is facing the other way, and it'll just try and expand itself into that gap. Just a little top tip from us. So just another bit of lubrication on that seal there, or O-ring on the end of the injector, just to make it easier to get it back into the lower inlet, and just make sure it's seated properly. So I'm just wiping a bit of that. What is that, Ben? Anyway, just so that everyone knows.
Just silicone grease.
So we've got silicone grease on the end of these injectors, just so that we can put it back into Chris in the shot again. There. Say hi, Chris.
Nice.
Chris is just watching this bit. He wanted to take some photos. So we're just going to get this injector rail installed back into the vehicle, making sure not to drop anything down that lower inlet. Obviously, we'd always recommend that you guys block these lower inlet ports off, just to make sure you don't drop anything down there. Obviously, we're being uber careful not to. So it's a case of equal pressure and just rock it in, just make sure it's all tight. And then from there, we can set about reinstalling the Plenum onto that lower inlet manifold, or Ben can in this case. Wiping it all down, just making sure it's clean, and go from there, guys. So yeah, I'm here with Chris in the workshop. We just thought we'd have a little bit of a chat about the thought process that went behind this, really. Behind Chris's decision to go with the CP340. So we originally discussed lots of different options, didn't we, from the RS Turbo and going with a stage 4 Revo upgrade. Now that's not something we'd recommend entirely, because for a stage 4 Revo really you'd need a forged motor, but on the odd occasion people have done a stage 4 upgrade which consists of 650cc injectors, the RS map and MAF sensor, the RS turbo and supporting bits, a couple of silicon pipes. Obviously that's taking into account that you've got all the relevant other mods, of which Chris has. He's got a stage 4 intercooler, is it, from Autotech? So you've got that. You've also got a few other supporting mods, such as the full turbo back exhaust system, and he's got the induction kit as well, amongst a lot of other things as well, handling mods and upgrades and so on and so forth. But it was just one step too far at the moment. I think Chris, I'll speak on behalf of Chris, but I think you want to do baby steps really, don't you? Rather than go all out in one hit, and that just keeps your interest in the car. You've spent a lot of money on it so far, getting it to the stage it is now. So yeah, it's probably something that Chris is going to look at in the future, whether he goes with a forged motor, a belt motor as it were, as the Americans refer to it as, or whether he tries to go with a stage 4 and just takes that on board. Now you've already got a block mod, haven't you? You've got an RS clutch, you've got an M factory diff as well, so you're set up ready for the power. As we discussed before, you've got all the underside which has been refurbished. You've got quite a few bushes as well, haven't you?
Yeah. Wheel lower arm here, that's got a poly bush, purple bush.
Did you say that you got the white line kit as well?
Yeah, I got the white line anti-lift kit for the front. Yeah. White line anti-roll bars front and rear.
How did you find the white line stuff? Did it make a huge amount of difference to
It did, yeah, because the parts were knackered anyway. They needed replacing.
What year is the car?
08.
So it's an 08 car. And how many miles are on the car?
93 now.
So you've got 93 miles, 1,000 miles, so it's not exactly an unused car, is it? It's been used as it was intended. Do you use that as a daily driver then?
Yeah, every day.
Yeah, so daily driver, 93,000 miles, so it's been used as it was intended. That rain inside. Sunny, man. Yeah, so the future plans for the car are undecided as yet, but I think probably once you've got that bug, you're probably not going to stop, let's face it. But we'll wait to see where we go with this one. Maybe an RS Turbo, perhaps stage 4 on...
Maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe next year. So yeah, just nice to see some engagement with other customers and customers that have been around us. Obviously you've used us for parts, you've used ND Tuning as well quite a lot, Neil. So yeah, it's just nice to see people. Remember guys, that just because you come to us doesn't mean you've got to buy everything from us. In an ideal world I'd love you to, because that'd be great for continuity, but you know, remember there's other people out there that do supply these products. There's other people that just supply products and don't do any work at all. So don't feel obliged to buy everything from us, and don't feel that if you've bought something and you struggle fitting it, that you can't come to us and ask us to fit it, because we will fit it. It doesn't matter. It's all work at the end of the day, and we enjoy what we do, so we're quite happy to help people. And I think Chris has found that in the past. He's bought stuff from us and then fitted it himself. Yeah. So he's seen a range of things, bought parts from other places and had us fit them. In this case, he's bought parts from Collins, haven't you? Yeah. And that was purely for speed point of view. We decided to do this last minute, didn't we? You were excited to get it done, so you picked the parts up yourself and booked in as soon as you could with us. So yeah, we'll leave it there for now, and we'll come back to you in a short while. Hopefully this will all be done. Ben will have the injectors installed and we'll be ready to write them up. Dave?
Yeah.
Dave, was that a really good deal that you just did me?
Best I could do, yeah.
Was it?
Why, what else do you want?
No, I'm just wondering. Have you ever lied?
Lots of times in my life, yeah.
You going now?
Big. Yes! Christ. Do you not know we're filming?
Yeah, do you not know I'm trying to work?
Yeah, so not only is it new toy day for Chris's car here, almost forgot your name then, Sunshine, but it's also, well, it's a new tool day for Ben, so he's always said that he is absolutely, the biggest thing he's wanted is a big one, so got him this big old ratchet off Dave at Snap-on. Now you might have seen before or later on in the clip that Dave promised me that it was the best deal he's ever done for anyone, and then admitted outright that he lies on a daily basis. So if you want to pick one of these up, what I'd suggest is you find another Snap-on dealer, because just Dave. So what we've done so far is just data log the CP340 or stage 3 Collins file. So basically we've data logged from the short-term fuel trims. I'm just looking at what Ben's got up. Fuel rail pressure. We've got engine RPM, and we've got the lambda reading up on the screen. And those are all electronically taken from the OBD rather than externally or anything. So those readings, they're direct, they're fairly accurate and fairly respondent as we're going through the rev range. So they're obviously, as you can see now, as I'm changing the throttle, they're changing on screen. So we're just logging that information and just checking the data, make sure that it's within the parameters that Collins set out for the file, and we'll go from there. But we're happy as it is now. Chris did mention before that he had a couple of MAF sensor issues, but as you may have heard, may not have heard Ben before, he did say that the MAF was coping with it at the minute, but it's something maintenance wise that we always recommend people do, to change the MAF when they get any issue. There's other various sensors that can fail, and used to be part of a service pack from very many of the tuners, i.e. the solenoid, the map sensor and the MAF sensor. But in this instance we're going to leave it alone because Chris hasn't reported any issues with it, so we're happy with the way that it's logged. We can now give the customer his first drive, so we'll probably rejoin you then. Cheers guys. Yeah, it's good, all logs good, so we're all good. So Chris is in the car with us now. I'm just going to drive it somewhere where more appropriate, where he can have a bit of a play, so we'll go from there. But just for a bit of a fact, we'll just give you a taste of the Collins overrun map.
That sounds more reliable than the last one.
It's loud, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely need to get that
CV joint.
yeah.
I've got me one there, just swap it over.
Yeah.
Got rid of that stupid two-stage boost now, have we?
No, not. It's still got a throttle response in terms of if you're not positive with the throttle,
yeah.
But it's definitely not got any of that two-stage kind of like goes and then stops, you know, and then goes, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So we definitely got rid of that. But if you're not positive on the throttle, if you know what I mean, you can get a little bit of kind of a throttle lag, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether that's just something maybe to do with that MAF, but we've data logged it and that MAF's coping with how it is, so we're all good with that at the minute. You know, if the MAF gives you any more fault, then I would definitely suggest replacing it. But to get the most out of this particular setup, we'd always like advise to stay with the manufacturer's recommendations, and like I said, Collins recommend a closed air induction system.
Yeah.
With this particular file, so we'll see how it goes and just play it by ear, as they say, Chris.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've definitely got pops and bangs. We were just checking that on the way back. Let's really see through that. You've got basically the kind of like the popcorny kind of effect, yeah. Overrun when you stood still, but you've also got you know, the kind of like overrun map when you're just cruising, you've just kind of just backed off, as it were, so you've got an overrun from there, and you've obviously got the static rev overrunny type effort as well. So it's not overly in your face, but you've certainly, if you want pops and bangs, that's what you've got. It's not something that Collins used to do, but it is something that they now do. So yeah, we'll just get somewhere a bit more appropriate, really. We've just done, just to explain what we've done, we've just done 4th gear pull, with Ben sat with me logging. So I've just done a sort of 2,500 revs upwards pull with a, you know, wide open for Ford, which isn't fully wide open. They were, as far as I can tell, they were always concerned that wide open throttle on a fly-by-wire system wasn't a good idea, so they actually didn't really give you wide open throttle. They just give you a sort of just under 90% wide open throttle, so when you got your foot flat to the floor you haven't actually got that butterfly completely open as far as it could go. So just head out here, out the 50 zone, get you onto the dual carriageway, maybe get you down to a road that's more appropriate and go from there. Lovely traffic. Just gone 3 o'clock. The Jaguar that wanted to attach itself to the rear bumper, Chris. Yeah. Definitely wanted to attach himself. Very, very close. I think he probably could have read the postcode off the number plate, to be honest with you, mate. So what is it that you do for a living anyway, Chris?
I work in recycling, CSM, bakery.
How long have you done that job for?
Officially it's been 2.5 years nearly.
What did you do before that then?
Basically I was a packer in the same place,
Yeah.
on and off for a year, and then I finally got the job on the yard doing the bits.
Yeah.
And then it was before that was lift engineer, helper rather.
How old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
27.
27. And how long have you had the car from before then?
November last year.
Okay. So it's not that long really, just coming up to a year, not far off.
Nearly 2 years, sorry.
2 years,
Yeah.
so November the year before
Yeah,
then.
November.
So what have you driven before this then? What car did you have before
One
this one?
before this was an anniversary of the Mark 6 Fiesta Z-Tech S.
Oh right. Which one was that? The yellow or the green one?
red one.
Red one. There you go. What year was that?
It was an 08.
Did you do any mods to that one, or just leave it stock?
I changed the exhaust system.
Yeah.
The previous owner said they mapped it. I got it mapped and they said it was running less than standard.
Right. That's pretty easy with them ST150s anyway. So I'm just going to do a poll now. No more kind of silly little kind of hesitations on it.
Yeah.
Just going to call it a day at that. So yeah, there's no more kind of like two-stagedness. Remember, there's 3 of us in the car.
Yeah.
Me, you and McPhee in the back. Me with the camera. So we've got 3 cameras in here. 2 big blokes in the front, 1 little lad in the back lean. And yeah, it's hot in here. It's really hot in here.
Yeah, I think it's so hot.
We're going to need a towel after this, I'm telling you now. Yeah. So yeah, right, we'll just... So you've got your kind of like let off bangs if you touch the throttle.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of wheel spin there.
Yeah. Does that all the time.
Yeah.
Sounds better, that slant panel off.
Yeah, just for a bit of context, we've left the slant panel off just in case we needed to adjust the actuator. So yeah. Got wheel spin again. Maybe
Turn it off.
We just don't want to wreck your tyres.
Fine. 4 mil left.
It's fine, we got 4 mil left.
That's the year now, so going strong.
Yeah. So we're just keeping within the speed limits and just doing a little bit of testing, and obviously just get down here for Chris to have a go on one of these back roads, and then we'll find out Chris's opinion of this Collins map, stage 3, formerly known as CP340. Watch out for that rogue wheel cap there. you know, the test is when you're in the car on your own, essentially.
Feels quicker, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think, yeah. Well, not just that, but I think it does, you know, I'm like, you know, 16 stone and all muscle, you know what I mean? Bennett's like 6 stone wet through, the cameraman, and you're like, must be what banging on 12 stone now. Don't say the actual answer. You don't think I weigh like anywhere near 14 or 16 stone, do you? I haven't since I was like 8, mate. So yeah. Do you know what? I've lost my fucking train of thought going with that. Oh, I don't even know where I was going. But anyway, yeah. So it's always better when there's less weight in the car and there's less people and you're driving it as you drive it. So, you know, that's how you're used to driving it on your own. So, you know, that's when you're going to get the best kind of like impression of what it's like. So we'll probably leave the GoPro in here, send you on a road to just go back, not backwards and forwards, but just a couple of runs, and then you can decide what you think of the car, and we'll get you together, you know, get you back with us, and then yeah, it's all good. So I'm going to pull over here, let Chris go to the end of the road and come back. So Chris's first drive, and let's see what he thinks. Impressions, it's like driving in the car, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
What do you reckon in comparison to?
Really happy.
In comparison to the
Changed the
original?
whole way of it.
Yeah, maybe you better move that seat forward. I'm a little bit taller than you. So yeah, go on. What's your impressions of the Collins file?
I think that's the best choice.
Yeah. In terms of, give me some descriptive words.
Best choice to start with.
Yeah.
Instead of just jumping up the 400.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't disagree with you. In terms of smoothness, power delivery.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I think it needs some more sticky tyres. Get it down now.
Do you like what in comparison to how the Shark map delivered the power?
Yeah.
What's the difference? Obviously got, you know, pops and bangs, overrun.
It's more aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got rid of that. We had a little bit of a kind of like, not a laggy throttle, but
Yeah.
almost like it's 2-stage boost. You know, the throttle on the throttle response on the Collins file is certainly more improved than it has been in the past. It's definitely. Oh, I can't even get my words out.
Yeah.
But it's definitely less laggy than it was before.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not making this up. No, rocking backwards and forwards. It's just the aggression of the way that Chris was using just low down power in the gears, then sort of 2000 and above. It wasn't like a first gear pull that or anything. It was a low down power in like second, third, and then into fourth. And that's what was making me rock backwards and forwards. As you can see, I'm relaxed, so it was just happening as it does on camera.
Yeah.
So yeah, I look like a flipping yo-yo in that one. But yeah, I've driven it. I think it's great. It's certainly like Chris says, there was a bit of a stigma attached around some of the Collins files, and the fact of the safety which remains within the file. I think we've got a really great file here in the stage 3. It's a really nice stepping stone, as Chris said. It's his stepping stone. I'm sure he'll catch the bug even more now, but you know, it's achieved what we wanted to. We'll give you an update, and I'm sure Chris will let us know about how we go. Or I could just kangaroo all day.
Yeah.
Chris will let us know about whether this map gives him any issues with the Wixbits crossover and the way that that's set up. As I said before, the advice from the software provider, which is Collins Performance, is that you should have a closed air induction system. We've not got that on this car. That's not to say that every car's going to have its issue, but as Chris did say before, he's got a couple of little niggles. So with the one being that he's had a math fault, he's cleaned that himself and it seems to be remaining okay. We've data logged in, it says it's okay, but that's not to say it will remain that way. So he's going to replace it if he does get to that point, and then if there's any other issues going forwards, then we'll probably recommend that he goes to a closed air system. He's got a couple of other little niggles like knocks and bangs. He's replaced his own drive shaft, and that's knocking a little bit. We're just going through town now just so that you can test the thing at low speed through town driving, just make sure he's happy. Yeah, he's got a couple of little niggles like knocks and bangs. He's replaced his own drive shaft, and that's knocking a little bit. We're just going through town now just so that you can test the thing at low speed through town driving, just make sure he's happy. Yeah, he's got a couple of little niggles in terms of dead battery on the GoPro. Boom. So you're still rolling in the back there. We're okay, we've got this footage, we're prepared. So yeah, he's got a couple of bits to replace, which include a drive shaft, and you're going to have a look at the steering rack, I'm assuming at some point. Probably one little tip for you is that you don't need the ST Tax steering rack, you just need to get the right one. There are other derivatives where you can buy that rack, just don't buy a reconditioned rack unless you're going to get it from Ford, or, well, there is one other place, but I'm not going to name them on camera just for personal reasons more than anything. But don't buy, you know, a Eurocar parts or anyone refurbished, you know, refurbished steering rack, because they don't get it right. They leave that knock in the steering rack. So you need to address that. Maybe have a look at some other little bits that we've discussed with you when we were underneath the car, just having a general check over. Get this car mint and then enjoy it until, like you said, maybe the beginning of next year, and then we'll get you that stage 3 hours tip. I mean, sorry mate, got that wrong, didn't I?
I'll go for that one instead. I'll go for the stage 3 instead when I got used to this one.
So yeah, we'll go for the RS Turbo. Keep your feet on the ground and do it stage by stage. Go for this stage, the RS Turbo is the next upgrade, along with the cider package to suit, and hopefully we'll get this sorted for you and get you enjoying the car and see you for a good many years.
Yeah.
But for now, we'll leave you and head back to the unit. I think that'll probably be it for today. So if you haven't already, Chris,
like and subscribe.
Thanks mate, because I can't say the word subscribe. So if you've liked the video, then please comment down below. Share with your friends. Chris is going to share it like mad anyway. Chris has got his own Instagram. We'll probably put that in the link below, if you're alright with that, Chris.
That's fine.
We'll put his Instagram in the link below. Like us across our socials. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. We've got obviously the two locations, one in Wrexham and one in South Wales in Aberdare. Yeah, as always, we really appreciate your time watching us, and it really does help us to produce this content, because we've got a reason to keep coming back. So for now, guys, do you want to clap or something for the outro like you did for George? Or, well, you shouldn't really clap, but you know. Anyway, that's your lot.